Elaine phoned me up and she went, Sharon, is my car outside the front? And I went, oh yeah, your car's here. She went, is Adam there? And I was like, I can't see him. I went, oh, hang on a second, he's just coming out now. I said, he's loading his car up with bin bags and it looks like he's got clothes, Elaine. So she went, he's leaving. So she's like, try and stop him. I'm like, how am I going to stop him, Elaine? Let down his tyres. I went, I can't let down his tyres. I'll get done for bloody criminal damage. So and I was sat there, he loaded up his car and he went out and literally, it was a couple of minutes, but it wasn't even 5 minutes, Elaine comes round. She went into the house and it looked like her house had been robbed.
Hey, what's up guys? Sean back, and today we're doing something a little bit different and we're exposing some holiday love scandals, I guess, or holiday love rats, which I'm not really sure what that means because I'm in my head I just picture like Master Splinter and the Sack or something, but I'm not sure what a holiday love rat is. I guess somebody says something really cheesy to try to get your money. That's what I can expect, or what I kind of figure out of it. But I don't know. Let's just see what's going on with this Only Humans documentary and what exactly they got going on in their lives. These holiday love rats out here.
Holiday resorts worldwide see thousands of British women letting their hair down, and some are seduced by eager local men.
The fact that he was younger, at the back of my mind it was, yeah, I can still pull.
It made me feel like, wow, I'm really something. I really felt very, very special.
Okay, but that's what these guys do, right? They try to make you feel special, because that one lady was having the time of her life sniffing that guy's chin. Let's just keep it real. That smile was 100% authentic.
Drawn in by the promise of a new exotic life, some even get married.
It was a very wonderful day, but the whole time it was in the back of my head. Am I doing the right thing?
But often these relationships come at a high cost.
I was headbutting walls, I was punching walls,
She just couldn't believe.
I was hysterical.
He put his face in my face and he said to me, you are my wife now. You do as you're told now.
And after spending
But these guys, let's just keep it 1,000. They're looking at your checkbooks typically. I don't want to say that's the case 100% of the time, but I feel like the guys that are trying to scam, do this kind of thing, that's almost 99%. At least I think so.
Spending thousands, some will wonder if they've been scammed.
I now believe that he'd actually been just stringing me along, getting as much as he could.
Somebody
hit that guy in the forehead pretty good too. It was kind of swollen.
I gave my heart to, just basically threw it out to the curb.
The spice market in central Istanbul, the perfect place to pick up something Turkish.
Thank you very much. See you again. Bye.
I always think it's kind of cool to see different cultures, how they do things, because you wouldn't see a bunch of spices just piled up here in Maryland anywhere, unless you went to a crab house and saw all the damn Old Bay piled up on the table.
54-year-old Tracy loves it here.
Oh, so she could have done him. I love this.
And she's used to the ways of this part of the world.
Are you from Germany or England?
England. Manchester.
Because I want to get married.
You want to get married? What, and move to England?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure you'll find them on the internet.
Oh my God, this lady's just out here trying to get it in wherever the hell she can. And these guys are throwing themselves at... I imagine for a lonely person that's looking for love, you come to a place where guys will just start throwing themselves at you. It's kind of flattering in a way. At least that's how I would picture, it's kind of would feel good.
Men, they see an English face. They'll try anything.
Tracy says she was never in the market for love.
I hadn't had a relationship for years after my divorce. I wasn't interested in men. I was quite happy. I didn't want to meet a man.
What makes this guy like Rocky Balboa or Balboa of the Bulge? What makes him so friggin' great if she's not out here looking for love? Because this guy just looks like any person walking around the street. I don't know what made him stand out.
But in 2009, while Tracy was online, a handsome 31-year-old from the southeast area of Turkey said hi.
He was
31, that might be a little generous. He might be fudging the numbers somewhat there.
Friendly, and we just got chatting, and he seemed like a decent guy. He had a decent job. He was a dialysis technician. He was very attentive. He was very flattering.
His name was Bülent Doğan, and he turned on the charm. Tracy was seduced by the thought of a life full of Eastern promise.
Within weeks, he was telling me that he loved me. And to be honest, I had got very strong feelings for him too. It just...
Whoa, chill with these kinds of pictures. I didn't want really prepared for all of that. But yeah, love bombing, isn't that the typical like whole route people go, just like the pig butchering scams? I don't know, I watch these scams a lot. Like, I'm interested in these kinds of things, but people typically love bomb at first, is my understanding.
Felt right. And from there, I went out to meet him in Istanbul.
For Tracy, this was going to be a holiday to remember. After being single for 10 years, she was about to spend a whole holiday with the man of her dreams.
We're both like school kids. Basically, it was like our first day ever, I think. And I was shaking, he was shaking.
Tracy...
Shaking what exactly here? Just the fact that you were so turned on by some pictures on the internet, and this guy must have magic friggin' fingers. He must be sending some DMs that would make me friggin' blush. But you so turned on, you bought a ticket, jumped, country, left your... Okay, it's just wild to me that this kind of thing still happens. Like, I guess the internet makes it able to happen.
Tracy felt they clicked instantly.
He made me feel good, he made me feel alive again, to be honest. And the fact that he was younger, I think, at the back of my mind it was, yeah, I can still pull.
Despite the excitement, Tracy found out Bülent's job back home wasn't quite as well paid as she had assumed, and he was skint.
He didn't have that much money to spend, and I ended up paying for most things there. And I think it came to the crunch on a night when we'd just had a couple of drinks in the room, and he suddenly said, I need your help.
Not a deal breaker, I would guess, for some people if the love of your life was broke, okay? But typically, you just meet someone, they start saying they need help or they need money. It's not kind of the best opener, right? Like, it's not conducive to a long-term, lasting relationship, at least I think.
He said, I don't have the money to get back home. So on the final day of the holiday, we ended up going up to the airport and buying him a ticket to get back home. I funded that ticket and he never offered the money back.
No
Tracy
shit.
was to return home in love, but out of pocket. Egypt, a country popular with tourists and lovers of ancient art and history. American artist Corinne came on holiday here 16 years ago.
Damn it, what are you doing, huh? It's supposed to be just the British women on here and not the Americans being stupid too. Oh, no.
I've always thought of art as being a talent that was innate and God-given, and I needed to use it and develop it.
Whilst touring the country, Corinne also exhibited some of her art, and this attracted the attention of an Egyptian lawyer called Taher Hassan.
We better not get into any kind of like nude art here, because I don't know what the hell kind of alleys we're going down with this video. But this guy already looks sketchy to me. Something about this is just sketchy as hell.
It made me feel like, wow, I'm really something. I really felt very, very special, and it was just the icing on the cake for me.
When the holiday was over, Corinne returned to the US and the pair stayed in touch. Corinne was married, but years later divorced, and in 2009, Taher made his move.
You're a married woman and this guy's sitting here plotting the whole damn time about how he's going to take that ring off? This is crazy.
He seemed very persistent, wanting me to come to Egypt. He had proposed to me online and said, I'd like for you to marry me when you come to Egypt. And I thought, wow.
Corinne thought this was perfect timing. She booked a holiday.
Different type of camel toe than I was expecting to see on this one with the love rats, but all right, zooming on the camels.
To Egypt and promised to marry her Egyptian lawyer. Within days of her arriving, the wedding went ahead.
I think most women would dream to have handsome man from an exotic place, be in love with them. My dreams were coming true, that my life was really going to be really fantastic at that point.
Didn't one of you tell me that like Foodie Beauty got like camel bite fever or something from her husband? I don't know. Not from her husband, okay? He's not the camel. He took her to see the camel. Something happened. She got some kind of fever or something.
They call it sarma. And sometimes they put meat in it. Sometimes they just put vegetables like I'm doing, because I've got vegetarian friends.
Tracy's holiday in Turkey with her new love Bülent was a great success, even though she had paid for everything. When she returned home, he asked Tracy to help him pay a phone bill.
He claimed he had a bill for a mobile phone he was being taken to court for. I actually said, how much is it for? It was a lot more than I expected. It was 1700 lira.
I don't know what exactly that is, but I would say, sorry, I can't talk to you anymore. The damn phone's going to turn off. So you figure it out, then you contact me. I'm not giving you a friggin' dime.
She gave Bülent money to cover the bill, but he didn't provide a receipt. It was just the first big bill Tracy says she was asked to pay. Adding up the hotels, flights and other gifts, Tracy says it was an expensive relationship.
Over the 3.5 years that I went out to see him, I will have spent in excess of £16,000.
What the? You're serious? Well, buy the edible panties. This one, buying all the damn Google gift cards and stuff to pay for his cell phone bills. That shit's adding up. You must be extra turned on at this point.
And it could have been a lot more had it gone on any longer.
The sky is cloudy today, so's my mood.
In Egypt in 2009, Corinne married her new love Taher, but she had to go home to the US without him.
Taher's packing. We're both trying not to get emotional, but it's hard. It's hard for me to deal with this. I can't tell you how hard it is.
Getting a visa for Taher was not easy. It was going to take years.
There's my sweet husband, whom I cannot live without.
When Corinne returned home to the US, Taher lost his job as a lawyer, so she agreed to wire him money.
$250. $250 again in March the following year. Another one in April for $250.
But did he even have a friggin'... Like, are you sure he was a lawyer, or is this just something that he's kind of, like, throwing out here to get you on the hook? At one point, you sent $2,000. That's a hell of a difference.
At the end of April in 2010, $2,200. They go on and on and on.
Over the next 4 years, Taher could not get a visa or a job, so Corinne kept supporting him.
I love my wife, and I will miss her so much. But inside of me, I know and I believe we won't be apart so long.
I bet you love her to death. You have all kinds of pet names for her. I'm sure one of them's Piggy Bank.
Our time will come so soon.
Eventually, the visa did arrive, and Taher made the trip to the US. Corinne did everything to make him feel at home, including putting his name on her bank account.
We made sure Taher got her social security cards. You know, he had the cell phone. I put him on the bank account to make sure he had access to funds. I had invested so much of my life and my effort into accommodating him and making sure he was happy. I didn't want him to be uncomfortable after he arrived.
Okay, at this point, she's just kind of, I guess, trying to stop the losses. Like, okay, I've already invested enough. This guy's mine, bought and paid for. I can't afford to lose him at this point, so we're just going to keep giving him more and more money and add him to our friggin' bank account. Sounds logical to me.
But Corinne had no idea what Taher was about to do. Holiday love rats promise a new and exotic life, but often these relationships leave the women in tears and seriously out of pocket. Bodrum in Turkey. In 2007, 48-year-old Elaine from Yorkshire was on her honeymoon with her 27-year-old Turkish husband, Adam Güler.
I thought, oh, this is my Mr. Right who I've been waiting for all my life. We went to Turkey for a month. We had 2 weeks holiday on our road and then 2 weeks travelling to visit relatives and his family. And
people just sitting here waiting for lonely singles to travel into town? Like, are they staking out the friggin' airport? How are they catching so many of them? Is this like Disney World meets Wet and Wild? Like some kind of destination get the D type of thing?
I got introduced to everyone, aunties, uncles, granddads, nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters. So I had a great time. Apart from I couldn't speak Turkish, I didn't understand what they were all talking about.
It was a holiday Elaine will never forget. She thought her life had changed forever.
I can tell you what the hell they're talking about. How to get an insurance policy with your name on it and get rid of you, right? Real quick.
It was like a Prince Charming. It was opening doors and doing all the right things what some of us women like. Being treated like a lady.
Elaine's love affair with Adam began in 2003, soon after he arrived in the UK.
I was on a girls' night out in the town in the city centre. Went to our usual nightclub where we go every Wednesday night. I saw him across the dance floor and I thought, oh, he looks a bit all right. I says to one of the girls, so she goes across and she tells him, comes over and we have a drink together. Said
he looks a bit alright, leads to marry me. Okay, I guess.
he was looking for an older woman, and that was it. That started my relationship.
Adam was a dream come true.
I was attracted to him because he was dark hair, dark eyes. He had a nice body, he had an airy chest.
He's cosplaying as Chewbacca. Holy hell, man. What the fuck is going on with me? I ain't got hardly nothing. Damn it.
Which I like that. I was happy, I was over the moon.
But Adam had a confession to make. He was already married to an Englishwoman.
A few years before he met me, Adam met a lady on the holiday resort and they got married in Turkey. And then after a while, he got a visa to come over to the UK and then they weren't together very long. They split up and he moved town.
Okay, so at this point, red flags mean nothing, okay? We're gonna treat them like green flags that mean finish line. And that's what I'm seeing from every single person that decides that this is a good idea.
So, well, they didn't stay together very long, so I asked him why they didn't stay together very long. And he said when he got into the country, as soon as the plane landed, she changed.
Elaine was in love. Adam got a divorce but remained in the UK on his marriage visa. And in 2006, he asked Elaine to marry him.
I was so excited. I've never been married before, and I thought, oh, Mr. Right, you know, I'm happy with him. So we'll go ahead and booked it. It was only about 3 weeks later, after we'd spoke about it around the Christmas time, got married January the 7th.
Is he Mr. Right or just kind of like Mr. Right now? Like, you're lonely, so you would accept anything. So this guy kind of comes into the picture knowing he's looking for an older woman. He said that off the bat, typically because you'd have your finances in order. At least that's what I'm going to guess is his motive. But yeah, I think he's going to leave her penniless and pissed off.
But only a short time into her honeymoon, Elaine started to worry about married life with Adam.
When we went to Turkey, he said he was taking £10,000 to lend to his brother. And he also took his mum, I think it was 5,000, because she wanted a new toilet because she had the type that went into the floor, and he wanted his mum to have a proper toilet, like an English toilet. He used to go get them contract mobile phones, and I had an old second-hand phone. I just didn't understand it. In an English marriage, what's yours is mine and what's mine's yours. You know, it's ours. But not being married to a Turkish man, it's not. His money's his.
Because what's yours is mine and the rest of my family's, apparently. If he's doing all that and she's living kind of below, like, lesser than his family, that he's treating so great with all these new phones, and she's probably got, like, an old flip phone or something at this point, that's kind of crazy.
And he knew that, and he told me that.
In Warwickshire lives 52-year-old Anne-Marie.
Hello, can I get a glass of white wine, please?
On a night out in 2005, she met a man from the Gambia called Omar Sonko.
Is
Very handsome, charismatic guy. Came along and started chatting to me, told me, stay with me and you'll never want for anything. I'll look after you, I'll treat you like a queen. He was, you know, he told me everything I wanted to hear, I suppose.
I mean, it's the same damn script. It's the same things over and over. Everything that you want to hear straight off the bat that just makes them seem so great, so wonderful, then all downhill from here.
She wasn't so sure, but he was. Anne-Marie was 41 at the time, Omar was 21.
There was text after text after text, there was voicemails, there were missed calls from him constantly. He was absolutely adamant that he wanted to make a connection with me. So I thought, well, okay, why not, you know.
Anne-Marie gave in to Omar's charms, took a holiday from work, and their relationship began. He later confessed he needed somewhere to live.
He had said to me that he was terrible with money and he was struggling to pay his rent, and it just was a natural progression, if you like, that he would come and move in with me, because then, you know, he would contribute to help me and that would also help him.
So you thought, I'm terrible with money means marry me, move in with me, I can fix him, okay? Just like guys think, I can fix her because she's hot. It doesn't usually work out.
Within months of him moving in, the couple had booked their first holiday to the Gambia. Omar really wanted Anne-Marie to meet his family, and they decided to get married. Anne-Marie says Omar's current UK visa had run out, so he needed a new one to stay in the country.
He had come to the country on a student visa. He had not been able to finish the course. He needed to send money back home, otherwise people wouldn't be able to eat. And I kind of admired his strength for staying and doing what he's been doing to keep his family going.
Yeah, there's strength and perseverance, I'll give you that. But this guy just seems like he's just not doing anything he's supposed to do. And kind of just saying, but I can't give up. I have to find me a rich woman, quick.
Anne-Marie and Omar got married in March 2006.
I have the wedding photographs here, all the photographs that we took. It was a very wonderful day, very humbling and very lovely. But I still had doubts on my wedding day, the whole.
So why do it? If you know that this guy's sitting here like signing the marriage papers with this song playing in his head, clickety clank, money goes into my piggy bank by 50 cents, why the hell do it?
All time it was in the back of my head, am I doing the right thing?
Anne-Marie says it wasn't long before the fairy tale came to an end.
The day after we were married, there was an argument. He looked at me, his eyes were like bulging out of his head. He put his face in my face and he said to me, "You are my wife now. You do as you're told now." I
mean, different cultures, right? I've talked to people all over the world with this YouTube channel, and I've even had women in other countries be like, yeah, they're kind of considered a good husband as long as they don't drink too much or hit you. And I'm like, what? Like the bare minimum's what's considered good? That's crazy to me, but all right.
Really frightened. And then I thought, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? I really think I've made a big mistake.
In 2009, Tracy from Manchester had started seeing Bülent Doğan, who lived in Turkey and made regular holiday trips to be with him.
Oh, I thought it was the lawyer again. It's the dialysis guy. We got to keep the story straight.
But she quickly found the relationship was costing her a small fortune. She continued seeing him for more than 3 years, but then enough was enough.
He didn't pay towards anything. The money that he took from me was £1,000 for a mobile phone bill, and then the final straw was when he asked for a £2,000 loan.
The loan was for a kebab shop. Bülent said he needed to pay for a license to trade. Tracy wired the cash, but she never saw it again.
I just felt...
Okay, if he's asking for money for all these things, now if he would have followed through with it, I would have been like, all right, just one person helping another, right? but since he's not following through with anything and it's pretty clear he's using you for money, I'd say, yeah, it's probably the last straw.
Devastated. I had trusted this guy, I'd given him a chance, and all the time I now believe that he'd actually been just stringing me along, getting as much as he could.
3 years ago, Tracy filed a case to a Turkish court demanding Bülent pay her back, but the case was not taken any further because he didn't have any money.
He's had long enough to come up with some form of payment plan, and now I think I need to seek some more advice, see if there's anything that I can do to actually make him pay the money back.
I think you kind of just got to write that one off. Chalk it up to the game. You had your fun, I guess. Found your younger husband you were looking for. And now it's just kind of done and over with. I'd say the same thing to a guy if he did it and married a younger woman who used him for money. I mean, it just is what it is.
Anne-Marie from Warwickshire had just got married in the Gambia to a man called Omar. It was a fairy tale wedding, but the very next day, she says, his mood changed. When the couple returned to the UK, she says her life was made intolerable.
I think he'd only been back a couple of weeks. He became very, very aggressive and started to become violent.
Anne-Marie says rows were common and often about money. He once smashed up the kitchen, and she recalls one particularly bad beating.
He held me to the floor with his hand and his foot, and then he took his belt off, and he had this thick studded belt, and he started to whip me over and over again on the top of my thigh. I was crying and screaming and begging him to stop, and he just kept whipping me over and over again. At one point during it, I did shout to him, is this how you control your girlfriends? And he shouted yes back to me.
That's just scary and terrifying. I wasn't expecting it to escalate quite there. I was expecting people just to use people for money, but obviously not okay in any way, shape, or form. I would not condone that ever on any circumstance.
The violence was not the only thing Anne-Marie says she had to endure. She says Omar often demanded money, forcing her to take out loans and borrow on credit cards.
This is all of the short-term doorstep loans that I took out in the course of my relationship with Omar. He would ask me if he could borrow money to send back to his family, but I found out later that actually he would tell his family back in the Gambia he couldn't send them anything this month because he was giving it all to me, and he would tell me he couldn't give me anything towards the housekeeping because he needed to send it all to the Gambia.
Oh, so they look at you like you're the friggin' problem, and nobody's looking at him, and then you're looking at him like, man, your family's bleeding me dry, so everybody's just chasing a ghost. Okay, I think I get the kind of like smoke and mirrors thing he's trying to pull.
Life became awful, to be honest. It was the spiralling debts, the constant violence. Never had any money. Was always having to say no to the kids when they wanted something. It was just horrible.
That's what I was gonna say was the saddest thing, because when I saw him playing cards earlier, I noticed the kids and I was like, uh-oh, this is good. Okay, thank God, that's a pillow. I thought this guy was naked from about here down. That's crazy.
The relationship lasted 5 years, and then Omar left. Anne-Marie took a non-molestation order out against him to stop him returning. She now wonders if she can track him down to help pay off the debts she was left with.
I was with this man for a long time, and I now have £15,000 worth of debts, which I just can't pay. What I intend to do is to see if there's some way I can find out where he is.
What does he think this is? Why is this cool? Pinkies up? Are you okay? All right. Different. Maybe this is cool, I guess.
And see if I can get any help, any money from him towards these debts, which technically are half of his.
Good luck with that one. I don't think you're going to see any of that money coming back.
Back in Washington, Corinne had spent years sending thousands of dollars to support her jobless Egyptian husband, Taha Hassan, while they waited for his American visa to arrive. He finally got his visa and in 2014 flew to the US, and everything seemed perfect.
Taher had kissed me and said, I just need you to know you're very, very beautiful. I'm going to love you forever and take care of you.
But just 31 days after he arrived, Corinne became concerned when she got...
Oh, shit. They just showed the Maryland state flag. Oh, no. Are we in Maryland? You're going to make me look bad, too?
a bizarre message from Taha.
I received a text from him saying he was going to New York to sign the papers. He was not alone. I didn't understand what that meant. I tried phoning him and texting him and got no response.
Corinne went home and Taha wasn't there. Concerned about what was happening, she contacted her bank, who confirmed suspicious activity on their joint account.
He went to the bank where we had a joint account, trying to withdraw as much money as he could. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 withdrawals in the amount of $200.
Oh, shit. So he literally just wanted the visa to come here, bleed you dry, and then he was just gonna, I don't know, I guess run off and run back to his country. So much for taking care of you, I guess. Unless he got an insurance policy and literally takes care of you.
A few minutes apart with each withdrawal. $696 for a one-way airline ticket to Cairo. When I'd spoken to the bank officers, they had told me he had tried to make many other withdrawals.
24 hours later, Corinne says she received a devastating email from Taha. He had returned to Egypt and asked that she never contact him again.
I thought nobody's ever going to love me ever again. I'm going to be alone the rest of my life. Somebody that I gave my heart, my life to, just basically threw it out to the curb.
Yeah, but you got to understand that this guy was never looking at you like a wife or somebody he wanted to. He was looking at you as a financial opportunity. So no reason for you to take it to those extremes. I understand that she's kind of like down and out now. I feel bad for her, but I mean, didn't you see any of the writing on the wall at all at this point? Like, it's kind of crazy to me that you didn't see this coming.
Tracy from Manchester ended her relationship with her Turkish ex when she says he failed to pay back a £2,000 business loan. She's come to London to meet Action Fraud, part of the City of London Police, who recently issued warnings over so-called romance scams.
I've never seen a penny, and I'd like to know if there's any way that he can be forced to pay any of the money that he's owing. So I just thought maybe if I speak to Action Fraud, they could give me some idea of what I could do.
The deputy head of Action Fraud is keen to meet Tracy as part of their ongoing intelligence gathering.
Welcome, Tracy. You've reported this to us as a romance fraud. So you said right from the outset you thought there was something wrong.
Yeah.
And yet
I felt
you've still gone through. So could you sort of explain the sort of process, if you like?
I can't explain, but my story is the same as many, many more. I run a Facebook group, and there's so many ladies telling the same story, but they have actually met the guys in person first down at the beach or some seaside place or even inland, and they fall into exactly the same trap.
Okay, so if the writing's on the wall, so many different times this has happened to different people, right? What made you think that this was going to be different for you? Or what made you follow through with it? If you, I don't know, I guess easier said than done. If you're lonely, you kind of just want to see whatever you want to see, right? If she wanted to see that this guy was her Prince Charming, he was literally going to be her Prince Charming all the way to the bank.
I thought I was pretty astute before all this.
Yeah.
I thought I was quite intelligent, but for some reason, they take over.
So it's the emotional attachments that have making you be irrational, do
was
things.
Irrational.
It was irrational.
It was irrational. I'll openly say I was stupid. I was irrational. I wasn't thinking. Everybody thinks the guys are different.
Tracy's story may be common, but she is determined to pursue Bülent Doğan for the £2,000 she says she lent him.
Look, if that's all you're out, I'd say chalk this one up to this is good. You ended up way better off than the other lady. Like, at least nothing like terrible is going on in the home involving like tearing apart the kitchen, all that stuff. I don't even want to talk about it. But yeah, you kind of ended up one of the better off ones that I've seen so far on this, just getting used for money.
So as far as the money that I'm owed now, is there anything you could suggest that I could do now?
You must pursue that through the Turkish authorities.
Okay, thank you.
She's admitted that she thought from the outset that there was something wrong and the alarm bells were ringing, but she was in love, and the rational aspects that you would do, the due diligence you would usually do, go out of the window.
Tracy.
See, that's what I mean about wanting to see what you want to see and kind of blocking everything else out. So from this point on, she'll probably have her guard up with everybody, and then it'll be that much harder to get along with somebody in, where are they, Manchester? It'd be that much harder to meet a guy there because she's just going to have all these like nasty thoughts about what they're trying to do, even if it's not the case.
Has decided to go back to Turkey to get legal advice about how to get Bülent to pay up.
I still feel very, very motivated now to go out and seek further advice, just to see what I can do, just to prove a point, because people like this should not be allowed to get away with it.
Okay, prove a point. You wanted to find a younger man, whatever, gave you the point, then gave you the shaft, okay? He was up out of here. Bülent can't buy a bouillon cube, okay? You're kind of shit out of luck, lady. You're not going to get a dime back. Sorry.
In Warwickshire, Anne-Marie eventually split up with her Gambian husband, Omar Sonko, after suffering divorce and years of financial turmoil. She's on her way to see her grown-up son Joe and daughter Steph from a previous marriage. They all lived together when Omar was on the scene.
We were just permanently broke, and they would ask for things. You know, they couldn't go on the expensive school trips like their friends. They couldn't have fashionable clothes. You know, they had to make do with whatever I could afford.
See, that's the thing that bugs me. All right, since my girlfriend has a daughter, right, I realized that my priorities come second to anything that she wants, because there's kids. You're always going to come second to kids. Like, it's just how it works, right? So none of their priorities should be a priority. At least I think most men would look at it that way, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Hello. How's the little beautiful?
Anne-Marie's daughter has just had a baby and has a new life. But she clearly remembers the financial chaos in her own childhood.
A lot of the time, Mum would stress about money, and then as he was on the scene longer, Mum just seemed to become worse and worse off, really.
You know, I think it's something like actually 60% of relationships fight over finances at some point. So it seems to be such a point of contention anyway. When there's somebody that's not bringing anything or not helping out at all, I don't know how long you can really stay in that relationship.
Hello, beautiful.
We weren't sort of able to have anything new, school uniform and stuff. A lot of stuff would come second-hand for us because she just simply couldn't afford it.
Come on, I've seen pictures of you with a big smile on your face.
Her son Joe was only 10 when Omar and his mum married. He remembers everything happening very quickly.
Well, I was quite young, so I didn't really know an awful lot about relationships. But it definitely did feel quite quick.
She's gripping hold of my thumb.
He was only casually in my life, and then all of a sudden, going from just seeing him a couple of times a week, it would be now all of a sudden he's there and he's staying, kind of thing.
Could you imagine that from a kid's perspective, though? This guy kind of comes into the picture. He's not treating your mom all that great, but you're 10 years old, so there's not really much you can do at all. So you just have to watch it. That's got to be like scarring as hell.
Okay, I'm going now, yeah? Okay. Yeah, see you soon, yeah? See you later.
Anne-Marie has over £14,000 of loans she says she was persuaded to take out by her Gambian husband. She now wants to find him to see if he will help pay off the debts.
Yeah, good luck. People in hell want ice water. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get a dime of that bag.
56-year-old Elaine married Turkish Adam Güler 8 years ago. They lived together for 3 years, and she says life before the wedding was good. But she says married life didn't turn out quite how she'd hoped. He worked nights at a pizza delivery shop, and she stayed at home.
The quality of the married life, I think, was bad. It was like two separate people, not a marriage. He was going out making money. He didn't buy me any clothes. I didn't get flowers. I didn't get birthday cards. I didn't get presents. Nothing.
Damn, you really got the short end of the stick, huh? Pizza man over here rolls around getting all the tips, and you don't even get a tip at all.
Elaine says they continued married life living as strangers. That was until his British passport arrived in the post.
His passport came on the Friday, and on the Sunday he gave me £60 and he says, "There's your £60 bed and breakfast," and he smirked. It wasn't a smile, it was a smirk. And then he said, "I can start to be myself now, because for 7 years I haven't been able to be myself."
On that Monday morning, Elaine was out and called Adam, but he refused to say where he was.
Do you want a cup of tea, Elaine?
Yes.
One sugar?
One sugar, please.
She became suspicious and called her neighbour Sharon.
Elaine phoned me up and she went, "Sharon, is my car outside the front?" And I went, "Oh yeah, your car's here." She went, "Is Adam there?" And I was like, "I can't see him." I went, "Oh, hang on a second, he's just coming out now." I said, "He's loading his car with bin bags and it looks like he's got clothes, Elaine." So she went, "He's leaving." So she's like, "Try and stop him." We're like, "How am I going to stop him, Elaine? Let down his tyres." I went, "I can't let down his tyres. I'll get done for bloody criminal damage." So and I was sat there, he loaded up his car and he went out, and literally, it was a couple of minutes, but it wasn't even 5 minutes, Elaine comes round. She went into the house and it looked like her house had been robbed. And I was...
Damn, so he literally just did what he had to do, got what he needed, and then was up out of there. Which I'm sure is the case on a lot of these, actually.
It's like, oh my God.
Adam had done a runner. 3 days after receiving his British passport, he was gone. Elaine didn't take it well.
I was headbutting walls, I was punching walls.
She just couldn't believe.
I was hysterical. I was in shock, total shock. But I really loved him, you see, 110%.
She did.
It was terrible, terrible.
What the hell did the walls do to you? It literally 3 days. This guy couldn't have been all that loving, right? If he was ready to cut and run in 3 days. I don't know why she would be so attached to a guy who obviously was just there for what he needed in the meantime. I don't know. I guess she saw it differently in her head.
Sharon consoled her neighbour, but she wasn't surprised by what had happened.
I mean, I've been to Turkey and I've had them come up to me and chat me up with my husband sat next to me. You know, and they've offered my husband money as well. We'll pay for your wife. And I looked at him and I went, "Don't you dare, I'll kill you." But they do offer you money for your wives when you're abroad.
I wonder how many guys are smart asses and they're just like, how much are we talking? Everything's negotiable.
I've heard that before.
Dale's have been offered 100 grand for me. I nearly crapped my pants because he sat and thought about it.
Elaine was never to hear from Adam again. He filed for divorce, but he still lives in the UK.
I've been left absolutely devastated and ill for the last nearly 5 years now. Miserable, I don't socialise. People's commenting on the way I am and telling me to cheer up. I'm on antidepressants the last few years. I've doubled them up to try to get out this rut I'm in, but it's not so easy. I just can't seem to move on.
Well, that's terrible, because she thought this guy genuinely cared about her, right? And then to realize that he had no intention or no kind of love for her at all probably does hurt a little bit.
3,500 miles away, Tracy has arrived in Istanbul to seek legal advice to try and get back £2,000 she says she lent her ex Bülent. She also claims that while she was on her last ever holiday with him, she discovered he was cheating.
No shit. Bulent is broke, lady. Write it off. You're not getting any of that damn money back.
I was tidying the room up and I decided to put something in his suitcase. There's no clothes in the suitcase, hardly. What there was winter clothes stuffed in a little bag of mine. I thought, this isn't right. So yeah, I had a look in his case. And that was when I found boarding passes from Helsinki to Oslo. I also found a letter from another woman saying, Bulent, you are impossible. I will be at the airport tomorrow, something like you'd better be there. I waited for him to come back to the room. I actually said to him, why didn't you tell me you've got another woman? There is no other woman. You're paranoid. And then I went to show him the boarding passes. I went to put my hand on the case. He grabbed my arm so hard. I had bruises down my arm for the rest of the holiday. He still denied it. I was just...
Of course, they gotta be just looking for the next best thing, right? It's come here, get what you can get out of one person, then find somebody else that you can kind of wring out.
Devastated, because I didn't believe he'd do that. Yes, he flirts, but I really didn't believe he'd go and do something like that, but he did. It was then that I thought, hang on, have I been scammed?
Later, Tracy will meet a Turkish lawyer. She's prepared to go all the way to get back the money she says she's owed. Back in the UK, and Anne-Marie is also on a mission. She wants to find her Gambian husband, who she says encouraged her to take out thousands of pounds of debt. He's disappeared, but she thinks he should help pay off the loans.
I found a website who will trace a debtor on your behalf. It's looks like a good site. It's a no fine, no fee.
What the hell is that? The flick your... Oh, okay, never mind. He's holding a little person. A little man in a boat, maybe, flicking something. But, alright. Everybody seems determined to get the money back. Instead of just saying, oh, well, it happened. Game over. We lost this one. Better luck next time, gamer.
For Anne-Marie, ridding herself of the debts is the start of getting her life back together.
Before I met Omar, my credit rating was good. My rating now, well... Credit card, £248. Long-term loan, £5,700. Another credit card, £2,500. Just shy of £14,500. At the rate that I'm paying back at the moment, because of what I need for day-to-day living, it's going to take 17 years to clear this little lot up. It's ridiculous.
Could you imagine paying 17 years for a bad marriage? That kind of would sting a little. Now I understand why they're trying to hunt these guys down so bad on this little website.
For Anne-Marie, crippling debts are not the only indignity she suffered at the hands of Omar. She believes he was also having an affair.
I caught sight of an email, which I do now have, which is a pretty young lady, much younger than me, sending a photograph of herself via her mobile phone to my husband. And then a few months later, I had a subsequent phone call from the same lady.
Well, she's got clothes on. I'm not sure. You might be reading a little far into this one. I guess she got the phone call. Game over. All right, better luck next time. Let's just say it's over with.
Anne-Marie and Omar soon separated. He's not allowed to go near the house, and she's not seen nor heard from him for years.
Unless I can actually find out where he is, then I can't recover any of it. I mean, I can't even divorce him unless I know where he is, because I can't serve any papers on him. So I think this is the way ahead.
Oh no, I didn't realize she was still friggin' married to this guy. Wow, you really do gotta hunt that guy down ASAP.
Tracy also has a plan. She's in Istanbul to meet a lawyer to try to get back the money she says she lent her ex, Bulent.
But when I asked Bulent why he'd scammed me, the first thing he said, and it stuck in my head, it was easy. I want settlement. I've not been able to say anything face to face to him because he didn't have the guts. And if I hadn't found the other woman's details within his suitcase, I would have still been none the wiser.
That's kind of the response I was expecting. I thought he was going to say because I can. But, I mean, as you see, these guys are seeing you as an easy target. You're kind of a mark to them. Not really somebody they're interested in, just more or less the money part of it.
This is the first time Tracy has seen a translated statement from Bülent, who says he thought the money was a gift, not a loan.
According to this, I provided £2,000 sterling for purposes of providing support and assistance to him. I gave him the money for assistance only. He didn't deceive me or betray me in any way. The anger's back again. I can't wait to see this lawyer. I just hope they can do something about it.
I don't know what you recover from somebody that's literally freaking broke, but I guess we could try. Maybe, would they throw him in jail? I don't know. I don't know how Turkish law works.
In Warwickshire, Anne-Marie finally has some good news.
In the last couple of weeks, I have had some success finding my ex-partner, so I can have papers served on him, which I couldn't before, so that's really, really positive.
Anne-Marie can now apply for a divorce, but first she wants to concentrate on ridding herself of the debts she says she was forced to take out by her Gambian husband.
Hello, Anne-Marie.
Hello, Paul.
Paul Fisher has over 30 years' experience in the debt industry and hopes to help.
So, Anne-Marie, what is it you want to try and to achieve now over the next 2 or 3 years?
Where I want to go from here is I really want to, I'd like to get rid of these debts. I want to be, in a place where I was before all of this, mayhem started.
Do you think she gets to just claim that she, took him out under distress? Just I don't know, you could claim if you signed a prenup, you did it under distress and you can kind of get away with it. You think it's kind of the same thing?
As the loans were taken out in Anne-Marie's name, she is liable. But Paul believes due to her circumstances, the debts could still be written off.
Certainly physical and or psychological coercion is duress. If it could be proved that you took out these loans under duress, the financial institutions involved, I think you would find would be very supportive in writing off your debt.
That's really, really, really good to know.
Anne-Marie.
It's kind of what I was talking about. Okay, you hear about all these NBA stars, right? That are getting married and they're like, well, you're signing this prenup or we're not getting married today, right? On day of wedding. And they'll sign it, but you get to claim that it was under duress because he asked you to sign it day of with stipulations, so you kind of get away with it. It's kind of crazy how that works, duress and all that.
Marie faces 17 years of paying back these loans and is therefore keen to get all the help she can.
I think I can put my hands on enough evidence to prove that I was coerced into several of these loans, and those loans caused me, my finances to spiral out of control. I think that's really something that I want to look into.
Alright, our next comic's very funny. Put your hands together for Corinne Kay.
Back in Washington, Corinne feels she's ready to move on.
Holy shit, she started doing stand-up comedy after getting the shaft from the little love rat. Oh my god, this is a crazy turn.
Her ex-husband is now back in Egypt and she's thousands of dollars out of pocket.
Has anybody ever embellished on a truth here before?
But tonight she's trying a new way to pay off her debts.
Just anything to make yourself look better, for those dating websites, because I'm on one that says, it's, there's a lot of them out there. I belong to the, I don't think I have enough time and I'm running out website.
Taha has been sent the allegations made in this program, but hasn't responded. Corinne feels hopeful about the future.
In the last several years, I've had a lot of difficulties thrown my way, but at my age, at 56, I have a lot of living to do. I'm going to be okay.
All right, somebody finally looking on the bright side of things. That's using it for stand-up comedy. Talk about your misfortunes, turn it into something fortunate. You gotta see the silver lining in these little love rats trying to find silver in the sewer.
In Istanbul, Tracy has already filed a case against her ex, but as he said he didn't have any money, her solicitor didn't take it any further.
Hello. Hi.
3 years on, Tracy feels differently, and local lawyer Sarah thinks she could file a criminal case.
If you could go again to the prosecutor to file a criminal case, I don't know the situation in Elazığ, but go directly to a police station and give your statement. Explain you have some evidences, including the receipt of your transfer to his bank account.
Yes. Can you, in a Turkish court, use texts, Facebook, email, MSN messages, things like that? Can that be used in court?
Yes.
I don't see why that wouldn't work everywhere. It's direct communication, I guess, unless they say you can't prove that he was the one on the other end of it, even if they are pretending to be him. There's kind of that disconnect there, that there's no actual proof that it was them in person doing it.
I've got even more evidence.
In a criminal suit, you have more power. It's a better option to file this criminal suit.
Okay.
Filing a new criminal case could mean Tracy gets her money back, but it could also cost thousands in legal fees.
It's not a very cheap process for Tracy to file a criminal lawsuit, but it's Tracy's decision to find out if this would be cost effective or not.
People are probably saying, oh, why don't you let it go? This is principle. It's nothing to do with money, it's nothing to do with finances. This is actually principle.
This is scorn and anger. You're angry, and it's okay to be angry. I don't care what fuels you, what gets you there, whatever. Be angry. You should be angry. But at some point, it becomes a waste of time to be doing all this traveling, lawyers. I don't think she was out all that much. If I remember correctly, she wasn't one of the ones that got, like, seriously hosed down here.
Anne-Marie also hopes that one day soon she'll become debt-free and move on with her life.
I entered into my relationship completely besotted in love, you know, it was a dream. But we live and learn, and I would like to think that I'm coming out of the other end of it, you know, much stronger, you know, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger, onwards and upwards from here on in.
Omar admits he was in the UK illegally when they met, but says it was Anne-Marie's idea for them to get married in the Gambia. He denies ever coercing her into taking out loans. Omar...
I mean, he's gonna say whatever he's gotta say, right? Because now he's worried about the criminal side of things. And it's not looking too pretty for this guy, because she already showed us proof that he was kind of a scumbag.
Admits their relationship was violent, but says he didn't whip her with a studded belt. He says he had to take a harassment order out against her after they split up. Omar also agrees he had a brief relationship with another girl, but says he had already separated from Anne-Marie at that point. He says she was also unfaithful during their marriage. Omar claims to have divorced Anne-Marie in the Gambia in 2012. In Yorkshire, all Elaine can do is reflect on her failed marriage to a Turkish man 20 years younger. She feels cheated.
I regret.
Yeah, but he's the cut and run guy who drained her bank account. He kind of just showed up and dipped. So in the grand scheme of things, he kind of was one of the better ones. At least he's gonna... No, she supported him for some years while he was over there too, right? I was gonna say she ended up kind of getting the better end of the deal, but I guess not.
Regret this 110% what's happened to me, and it's so easy to fall into it because I'm such a trustworthy, believing person, and he caught me with my guard down at the time, and he come across as such a lovely person, and that's what I needed in my life at the time, and obviously it was a big mistake.
Adam says that he used to give Elaine between £100 and £250 per week, and the money he gave to his brother was repaying a business loan. He gave...
I'm not sure how lovely of a guy. He kind of... I don't know, he kind of reminds me of Jafar from Aladdin. Like, he's just pure evil.
His mother £500, not £5,000. Adam says married life had deteriorated over the years, so he decided to leave at a time when Elaine was out of the house. Adam says he didn't regard Elaine's home as a B&B and didn't tell her he had been unable to be himself for the previous 7 years.
That kind of would make him look pretty bad, right? If that was the case and he actually said that.
Tracy is at the end of her trip in Istanbul. She's determined to continue her legal battle to get back money from her ex.
I think my personality has been changed by Bülent. Still, I'm very, very cautious, but I think there's no harm in being cautious.
Bülent disputes Tracy's version of events, in particular that he has to pay Tracy back the money she gave him. He also said he tried to break up with Tracy many times, but she wouldn't let him. Bülent says he is now happily married and wishes to be left alone.
Of course, Bülent, you are just so irresistible that everybody just can't get away from you. You are the guy that everybody just wants. So of course she was just like absolutely in love with you.
And Tracy is also in another relationship.
I've met somebody new. Aziz is totally different to Bülent. He can't do enough for me. He's absolutely besotted with me. He's never asked me for money, he's never asked me for anything. He's actually given me. To say that he doesn't have a lot, he would give me his last penny, he would do anything for me. Hello, Gidog.
Well, plot twist here. This guy is just kind of putting on the good guy act so then he knows that he can grab some dollars here later too. I hope that's not the case. I'm just saying, this guy rolls up like the friggin' Fonzie. I'm gonna think something.
Aziz is also Turkish, and talk of marriage is already on the cards.
I like Tracy because she's so honest, and she's good woman. I will marry it, maybe. Tracy, if you want.
Alright, so another Turkish guy maybe learned her lesson, maybe knows what to look out for, maybe gets absolutely swindled again. But I don't know, I think the point of this is just like, have your guard up, but you can't have your guard up too much, because if you do, then you'll never get to know anybody. This holiday love rats thing, it just seemed interesting to me. I know it's not like the typical kind of videos I make, but I just wanted to do something different. But leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think about this one, and I will see you later. Bye.